Finally, within this module, I would like to touch the topic of designing the interview protocols. Although the interview protocol is not an instrument in the same sense as a survey or a questionnaire or another measurement tool, and the concepts of reliability and validity are not applicable to it, still it is your instrument for data collection. By definition, interviewing is a conversation that has a structure and a purpose determined by only one party, the interviewer. The interview with a group of individuals is called a focus group. Interviewing is a questioning and listening approach with the purpose of obtaining thoroughly tested knowledge. Success of the interview data collection depends on many factors. One of them is thorough preparation and planning and anticipation of possible scenarios for conversation. These are realized in the document called the interview protocol. It can more or less precisely define the questions for the conversation, depending on the purpose of the study, the topic, the research methodology, etc. The interview questions should be tightly connected to the research questions. For example, on this slide you see 3 research questions stated for a hypothetical study. The first question, which forms of learning motivation dominates in high school, can be addressed by asking respondents multiple questions such as, do you find the subjects you learn are important? Why? Do you find learning interesting in itself? Tell me more. What is your main purpose in going to high school? In a similar way, 2 other research questions are related to multiple questions in the interview. There are different types of interview questions. First, there are introductory questions. These are the opening questions that might yield rich, spontaneous descriptions and usually start with the words like, can you tell me about, could you describe, etc. Follow-up questions allow to extend participants' answers through a curious, persistent, and critical attitude of the interviewer. Any reactions from the interviewer, such as a nod or just a pause, can invite the participant to go on with their response. Probing questions are used when the interviewer needs to pursue the answers, probing their content without stating dimensions for an answer and leaving it open for the respondent. For example, they may start with, could you say something more about? Could you give me a more detailed description of? Can you provide examples of? Specifying questions are aimed at getting more precise description of the object and concept of interest. Direct questions are those in which the interviewer directly introduces topics and dimensions for conversation. They are recommended to be postponed until later stages of the interview after the participants have given their spontaneous responses. Indirect questions are questions formulated through projections to others. Usually, they are used to get participants' attitudes towards specific, sometimes sensitive issues. Structuring questions are used to break off irrelevant answers when the topic is exhausted and change the topic. Finally, 2 more tools in the interviewer's toolbox include silence and interpreting answers. By allowing pauses in the conversation, the interviewer gives the respondents time to reflect on the question and then break the silence with significant information. Interpreting answers are used when confirmation from the respondent is needed. Basically, in these types, the interviewer rephrases the answer from the respondent to ensure its proper understanding. Of course, many of these things cannot be fully predicted or anticipated for an interview that has a free-flowing, unstructured nature. But understanding your options might help you to develop an on-the-go strategy for collecting the information you need.